Ladies and gentlemen, this week's AEW Dynamite, this week's episode of AEW Dynamite was a very, very great show. I was especially impressed with Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. We got Cody Rhodes versus Penta. We got Jade versus Dani. We got MJF introducing The Pinnacle. We got a 10-man tag match. We got Tony Schiavone interviewing Darby Allin and Sting. And listen to this. That's not all. And then we got Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker in the Unsanctioned match. And we got Rey Fenix picking up his victory over Angelico. Now, the Unsanctioned Lights Out match was one of the greatest unsanctioned women's main event matches on the show. It's one of the greatest unsanctioned women's main event matches ever. This is going to go down as one of the greatest women's matches in AEW history, in my opinion. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go over what all went down on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. We're going to go over it all right here on my IWN Wrestling and Gaming News YouTube channel. Or should I say, my IWN Wrestling News and Gaming YouTube channel. There we go. That's better. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is IWN's very own Brendan here live for your AEW Dynamite St. Patrick's Day Slam Review. Welcome to my IWN Wrestling News and Gaming YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, man, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications. First of all, I just want to give a shout out to everybody who showed their love and support for me and my channel. I now have 210 subscribers. Please help me get up to 300. And most importantly, help me get up to 1,000 by hitting that subscribe button. And if you think you're going to enjoy the stream, hit the like button on the stream, man. It really helps the channel. It really helps the live streams and the videos, and it helps me out. So, also, you can follow me on Twitter at Ingham Wrestling. Also, you can also follow me on Twitch at Ingham Wrestling News. I have some Xenoverse 2 content over there. And, of course, on my YouTube channel, I have some wrestling and gaming content. And on my YouTube channel is where I have my Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and NXT UK reviews on. I go live for my Raw, NXT, and NXT UK and SmackDown reviews every week. Even my Dynamite reviews every week. So be sure you have on those notifications so you won't miss all those reviews that I go live with every week. Right here on my IWN YouTube channel. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and get to it here. So, Dynamite kicks off with a recap of MJF's betrayal from last week. So then we got the new stable arriving tonight from a private jet. Pentagon makes his entrance. Penta says he has a gift for Cody. He will break Cody's arm, and he will have to take an early paternity leave. Cody is out next, accompanied by Iron Anderson. Penta attacks before the bell. So then we got Cody Rhodes versus Iron Anderson versus Penta El Zero Miedo. The two brawl on the outside. So Penta attacks Cody's shoulder, driving Cody into the ring post with a forearm and driving Penta into the barricade. So then in the ring, Penta rips Cody's shirt off and chops him in the chest. He chops him in the chest, basically. So then Cody asks for more and hits a front suplex, Penta with the sling blade and a 2 count. So then we got Cody hitting Penta with an uppercut. Penta hits Cody with a backstabber, and we got a 2 count. So then Penta grabs a table and wears a party hat. So then Cody hits Penta with a big boot. Penta sends him back in the ring. Cody hits Penta with a Frankensteiner from the top rope. Penta hits Cody with a kick to the injured shoulder, continuously attacking on Cody's shoulder. Armbreaker, Cody kicks on the apron. Well, Cody with kicks to the leg. That's what I'm trying to say. Excuse me. Penta with a kick to the shoulder. He kicked Cody Rosa's shoulder. Cody hits a disaster kick on the apron. And then a suicidal tope onto the barricade. Penta with chops to the chest. Cody with a super kick and a cannon destroyer. Then a Cody cutter for the 2 count. So then Cody hits a crossroads. Penta kicks out at 2. Cody gets Penta up for the gory special. So then slams him. He slams him to the mat after that for a 2 count. So Penta hits Cody with a huge slap to the face, and then Cody slaps Penta's knee into the steel ring post. Then we got Cody walking into figure 4 in the middle of the ring. Penta gets to the ropes, and then Penta reserves another figure 4 attempt into an arm breaker. While Penta celebrates, Cody rolls him up for the victory. So we got Cody winning this one, folks. Now, Cody versus Penta was not bad. It wasn't really a bad match at all. In fact, if Rose's arm was as injured as it was, the idea of him being able to keep Penta down with a sunset flip is pretty far-fetched. In fact, nitpicking aside, this was a perfect match to kick off the show and a taste of things to come between Cody and Penta. Now, the post-match attack suggests there will be a continuation of the program. That is a very good thing if the intention is to put Penta over. Now, if not, let Cody move on to someone else. You know what I'm saying? Someone else who will be endangered as a singles competitor with yet another loss to the American Nightmare. Now, Penta attacks Cody after the match. Iron Anderson gets in the ring. Dusty Rhodes and the Gun Club drive Penta out of the ring. Penta celebrates in the crowd. On the ramp, QT Marshall comes out. The Nightmare family asks where he was. Now, Marvel is with the Young Bucks. Matt says that Phoenix beat him in singles matches, but they are the best tag team in the world. Callis comes out asking about their father and says he was faking his injury. but he wanted them to kick him. He wants to see the old Young Bucks. There is nothing elite about them anymore. And calls Omega the god of pro wrestling. Says Omega doesn't recognize them anymore. They are just another tag team in fancy tights. So now we got Jade Cargill in action. We got Jade Cargill in action. She went against Dani Jordyn. So Cargill poses Dani with a back elbow, Cargill with a big boot, huge release German suplexes from Jade. Jade hits a Jade for the 3 count. So this was basically a squash match. This was a hell of a good, quick squash match for Jade. This was introduced to showcase Jade as the improved physique athlete she is, basically. It worked, and honestly, as she completed over one wrestling resident, Mean Girl Jordyn, to en route to a short, compact victory. Now, the tease of her feud with Red Velvet continuing was a nice touch, and it honestly gives the women's division a secondary rivalry to talk, something it needs outside of the title picture. Now, Jade gets in Red Velvet's face in the crowd. Referees pull them away from each other. So once referees pull them away from each other, we got a recap of the Inner Circle implosion from last week. MJF's music plays to bring out his new stable. Tully says, "It is great being in the ring with these guys," and says this group is the baddest. They are the pinnacle of this sport. Says he started with the 4 horsemen, and he will finish with this group. MJF says he is Judas, pretending to like Jericho wasn't a walk in the park. So he basically pretended like Jericho was a walk in the park, and then insults Jericho's hairline. Says he and Sammy are as far away from each other as his picks. Says he pretended to like Jericho's comedy bullshit. Says he convinced everyone that he wanted to take over the Inner Circle. But the goal was to kill the Inner Circle and build a group even stronger. MJF looks at the lineup. They are the pinnacle. Wardlow is the best insurance policy in the business. Spears in a wrestler and has been held down for too long. FTR are the only Grand Slam tag team champions in the world. MJF is already the most talked about name in pro wrestling today. He is unstoppable at only 24, and he will get only better. Says Jericho won't be the GOAT. He will. We are the pinnacle. We will be the backbone of AEW for years to come. They will take what they want when they want, and they want Jericho's locker room. MJF says he's better than he's better than you, and you know it. Basically, he's better than Jericho, and he knows it. That's what he's trying to say. So we got a commercial break, and Big Money Matt Hardy makes his entrance with Private Party and Butcher and the Blade. I gotta admit, that's a good gimmick name for Matt Hardy. Big Money. Oh man, that should be a gimmick right there. If it is, then kudos to AEW for that. Matt says he lives to make money. He is a businessman building an empire. Jurassic Express are out next, along with Bear Country. So Hardy and Stunt start off. Matt with a knee to the ribs. We got Marco hitting Matt with a slap. Matt catches a dive. Jungle Boy tags in, and the match breaks down. Everybody brawls in the ring. Bear Country throws Stunts to the outside onto everybody. Matt Hardy hits a side effect for 2. Jungle Boy is dominated by Hardy and Butcher. Butcher hits Jungle Boy with a gut buster. Blade tags in. Jungle Boy tries to fight out, but Blade regains control with a headlock. Jungle Boy tries to fight out, but gets shut down by Blade. Clubbing blow to the back. Jungle Boy hits Blade with a big clothesline. Tag to Luchasaurus. He runs wild with big boots to Blade. Big chops to Private Party. Cassidy sends him to the ropes. Backbreaker or big back body drop. And a German on Blade. Tail whip and choke slam on Private Party. So then they hit a moonsault for a 2 count as Blade or Butcher breaks the pin. Butcher absorbs a headbutt and plants Luchasaurus. Brinson with a exploder suplex. Bear Country and Jurassic Express argue as Marco tags in. Cassidy hits a pump kick and then Stunt with a flurry of kicks. And then we got a few moves from Private Party, and Hardy tags in and hits the twist of fate for a 3 count. And that was it. So we got Hardy, Private Party, and Butcher Blade winning that match. So, again, folks, Big Money, Matt Hardy led a team consisting of Private Party, the Butcher and the Blade against Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt, and Bear Country. I'm gonna reread this again, in case those of you didn't understand what I was reading. Now, a hot start gave way to the heels, grounding and working out over Jungle Boy, healing or heading into and through the commercial break. A hot tag to Luchasaurus sparked the babyface comeback as the maxed big man pummeled Private Party. He downed Isaiah Cassidy and scored a near fall. But the Butcher broke up the pin and laid Luchasaurus out. The green tongue babyface fought back into things and fed Cassidy to Bear Bronson, who let him out with a explosive suplex. Stunt tagged himself into the match. I don't even know who that is. And as action broke down at ringside, back inside, Stunt ate a big pump kick from Cassidy, who tagged Mark Quinn into the match with a little help from Hardy. Private Party managed to execute Jane and Juice. Hardy demanded the tag and delivered a twist of fate for the win. I read it again in case those of you didn't understand what I was reading. I was reading to you all what happened with the what went down with the 10-man tag match. That's what I was reading to you all. Now, honest thoughts and comments and opinions on this. Honestly, this was fine for what it was. Honestly, but somewhat of a letdown given the recent work of all involved. Now, it was rather formulaic, but the right team went over. Luchasaurus shined in defeat, so there's that. It's rather hard to get into the Hardy stick right now when it feels like it might be the star who takes on every lost tag team or act in AEW, such as Butcher and the Blade, who feel completely out of place as his cornies. Now, Bear Country, Jurassic Express, they argued outside. Moxley and Kingston were backstage. Says he got beaten to a bloody pulp. He should be on a beach right now. They need to fix the real problem. He doesn't like the Good Brothers. Gallows has wiggly eyes, will spit his forehead open and asks if he can say Bullet Club. They are soldiers. At a commercial break, Dasha is backstage with Christian Cage. Christian talks about workhorses. Says he makes wrestlers level up, but he's not a Workhorse. He is the workhorse of. He's not a workhorse. He's the workhorse, and says there is only one spot that interests him. Helped by Kenny Omega. Says Omega is on borrowed time, but he will see Kenny down the road. Why is he in AEW? To cement his legacy. To put to action 3 simple words. Out. Work everyone. Good Brothers attack Eddie Kingston as he makes his entrance. Moxley comes out to help, all tapped up, or should I say all taped up. You all get what I'm saying. Gallows with huge uppercuts on the outside sent Moxley into the barricade. Gallows with a headbutt to Moxley. Good Brothers with the Magic Killer on the outside. So then we got Kingston and Jon Moxley versus the Good Brothers. Now, the bell rings. The bell rings as Anderson continues the attack on Kingston. Gallows tags in and attacks in the corner, gouging at the eyes. Anderson works the arm, strikes to the face. Gallows backs in with a huge kick and for a 2 count. Kingston fights back with chops momentarily. And then Gallows gets the upper hand with strikes and knees. Or strikes and knocks Moxley off the apron. The Good Brothers continue the attack. Kingston gouges the yes of Anderson. Fighting the hands of Anderson, Kingston and Gallows trade slaps back and forth in the corner. Gallows hits a right hand and tags in Anderson. Anderson with big boots in the corner. Gallows hits a snapmare and a headlock. Moxley gets back up on the apron. Kingston with a diving shoulder tackle. And then we got an exploder suplex from Kingston. I'm assuming to either Luke Gallows or Carl Anderson. Moxley tags in and runs wild on Anderson. Release German suplex, shotgun, dropkick. And stomps in the corner. Elbow to Gallows. And then he hits a huge clothesline to Anderson. Moxley does. And then Moxley hits a pile driver on Anderson for a 2 count. Gallows breaks the count and attacks Moxley. Moxley drives him out of the ring and hits a Tope Suicider. Anderson with a huge spinebuster for a 2 count. The Good Brothers hit the Bot of Doom. Kingston walks into a shove hook for a 2 count. 2 count on Moxley. Kingston breaks up a Magic Killer and sends Gallows to the outside. Moxley hits a small package for the win. And that was it. Now, I don't know what I want to say about this match. I don't really have any thoughts on this match as of right now. But I will say this match was a great match. I mean, I don't even think nobody was even paying attention to this match, to be honest. It was a great match. It's a great way to build Moxley and Kingston, though, to be honest. I mean, they are feuding with the Good Brothers, so I'm assuming Moxley and Kingston feuding with the Good Brothers. I'm guessing that their feud with the Good Brothers are continuing, I'm assuming. And Christian Cage's feud is continuing with Kenny Omega, of course. Kenny Omega, the AEW World Champion, or some shit like that. Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. Kenny Omega is one of the best AEW World Champions on that roster. He's probably the only AEW World Champion. Probably the only best AEW World Champion. Anyways, this match, like I said, it wasn't too bad. I don't have too much to say about it, to be honest. So I may just move on to the next. I wasn't really interested. I wasn't really necessarily interested in this match, really, to be honest. I wasn't really interested in even watching it. But honestly, the least to say, it was interesting. It was a great tag match. It didn't really necessarily steal the show, though. It wasn't the greatest match of all time. It wasn't the best match ever, but it was a good match. I mean, the match was okay. It had a few bad mistakes in the match, but other than that, it was great. Okay. I think that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say from here on out for now. All right. The Good Brothers, Anderson and Gallows, they attack Moxley after the bell. Omega comes out holding a chair and sets up the chair in the middle of the ring. Kingston attacks Omega, but succumbs to the numbers game. Magic Killer on Kingston. Then they put Kingston's leg through the chair. And Anderson stomps on the chair, breaking Kingston's leg. They put the chair around Moxley's neck. Gallows goes to the top, but the Young Bucks come out to stop them. The Good Brothers offer the too sweet, but the Young Bucks don't respond and walk away. Omega gets in Matt's face, and they walk away. Moxley comes back in swinging the chair, and the Super Elite clear out. So then we got Tony Schiavone on the stage, bringing out Sting, then brings out Darby Allin. Darby says he won the TNT championship and has defended it 3 times. It's a joke. He wants to defend the title each week and wants to pay tribute to the greatest TNT champion of all time, Brody Lee, and will defend the belt again against the, I'm guessing, the Dark Order. Archer comes out saying it should be his time and calls Darby and joked. He calls Darby a joke and will put his ass in the coffin. Jake Snake calls him a whiny. It says Sting will get what's coming to him. And calls Archer the biggest, baddest son of a bitch. Taz comes out with Team Taz. Cage gets the mic, says Sting stuck his nose in their business. He respects Sting and says Sting is still the icon. Team Taz asks what the hell is wrong with him. Cage walks away from Team Taz. Video package of Scorpio Sky says he won't be a stepping stone. He is a wrestling savage. Phoenix makes his entrance with Pac. Angelico already in the ring. So we have Phoenix versus Angelico. So Phoenix hits Angelico with a armbar. Angelico gets the headlock. Phoenix hits a arm drag to Angelico. Phoenix hits Angelico with a crucifix for a 2 count. Angelico misses a big boot and catches the arm and attacks the injured back. Angelico rips off the tape on Phoenix's back and continues the advantage. Shoulder submission, ankle lock. Phoenix gets the neck and back stretched out. Kick to the back. Phoenix with an Hurricane Rana. And he hits a cutter for a 2 count. Angelico hits Penta with a, or hits Phoenix with a elbow to the back and locks in death roll. Phoenix he goes to the ropes, and Phoenix hits a roll up for the 2 count. And then Angelico hits an enziguri and kicks back and forth. Knuckle lock. Phoenix hits a crucifix bomb. and a sit-out power driver to Angelico for the 3 count. And that was it. Folks, you gotta excuse me. Sometimes I misspell some certain stuff. I try to correct myself sometimes when I'm misspelling stuff. So you gotta watch out for those. When you're doing, let me tell you something. When you're doing reviews at all times, you always got to make sure you correct your spelling. You always got to make sure you correct what you say, because sometimes you may misspell something when you're doing a review. When you're reading what happened, when you're reading to the audience on what happened with this match or what happened with that match, and then you all of a sudden you misspell something, you got to make sure you're correcting your spelling. And that's what I'm trying to do. Make sure I'm correcting my spelling, make sure I'm not misspelling. I'm not getting nothing wrong or anything, you know what I mean? But I try my best, man. I really do. You can tell I'm trying. You can tell I try. But anyways, my thoughts and comments on this match, honestly, Fenix has been one of the most consistently excellent wrestlers in AEW. Now, he has been simply phenomenal since day one, and this was no different. But the match when Angelico was hindered by the commercial break in the middle of it, not to mention the lack of build to the match, it was essentially an extended squash, a showcase for Fenix as he and Pac prepare for their upcoming AEW Tag Team Championship match against the Young Bucks. We could see the Death Triangle become the new AEW Tag Team Champions. We could, possibly. 92%. I'm 92% positive that they could win this match. I mean, it's time for new AEW Tag Team Champions. It's time. I mean, I'm not trying to shit on the Young Bucks or not trying to ruin them or not, but I think it'd be better if they drop the titles to Death Triangle, because it's time for a new tag team to be AEW Tag Team Champions. So I feel like Death Triangle's going to win it. I believe they are. They deserve it. I mean, we seen how Pac worked his tail off. We seen how good Death Triangle were when they were heels. Now you're starting to see and find out how good they are as baby faces. Now, they prepare for their upcoming AEW Tag Team Championship match against the Young Bucks, and it was harmless, above average, but not much more than that. So that's all I got to say, honestly. So Marvis is with Myru, Rusev, known as Myru, in the gym. Myru says he's interested in Chuck being his butler. Keep says it is. Keep says he isn't over it. Myru argues with him and says the worst thing is having his wife at ringside. When the bell rings, he doesn't care about him, his wife, or anything. He doesn't. So basically, Rusev doesn't care about him and his wife at all anymore. So basically, this is starting to look like a breakup storyline for a kid in Myra. I'd be surprised if it already is. But says here he needs to be a world champion outside the ring. They are still buds. Kip accepts the match. So then commentary runs down next week's card. Marvis is with Dark Order backstage. -1 say he will accept the challenge. Dark Order says maybe in 10 years. John Silver accepts the open challenge. And up next, Lights Out match. So this is the main event. The women's main event of AEW St. Patrick's Day Slam. We got the Unsanctioned Lights Out match. Anything goes. We got Dr. Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa, one of the 3 of my favorite AEW women's talents. I'm not scared to say it on a review, and I damn sure ain't scared to say it on Twitter, because I just said it. And that's the truth. She is one of the 3 of my favorite AEW women's talents. Anna Jade is another one, and Tay Conti is the 3rd one. I'm sure you all know my favorite AEW women's talents already. But there are 3 more AEW women's talents that I am following on Twitter. I didn't get to follow them yet, but I will when I get a chance, probably later this afternoon. Because I watched 3 more AEW women's talents. I watched their matches on Dark when I was live for my AEW Dark live stream watch along. They did. I'm impressed with those 3. They actually may be my newest favorites. So I'll have 6 AEW women talents that are my favorites. I'll have 6. I'll have what I'm trying to say. I'll have 6 AEW women's talents that are my favorites. So that'd be 6 of my favorites right there. The other 3 I will probably tweet out later this afternoon. I'll tell you who they are. The other 3 AEW women's talents. One of them is Thunder Rosa's students. Anyways, so Dr. Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. Reveal attacks Rosa with a crutch. Rosa attacks Reveal, and Baker hits a spear through the ropes. Britt hits the air raid crash on Thunder Rosa for a 2 count on the outside. Baker attacks Rosa. She hits her with a chair. Rosa throws the chair in Baker's face and attacks Baker, and Reveal hits Rosa with the chair, I believe. And then they fight in the crowd. Rosa misses a flipping senton, and Baker gets a 2 count. Baker sends Rosa back to ringside, and she was sent to the barricade. And I believe Baker and Reveal set up a table. Am I right? So then Baker hits Rosa with a curb stomp on the steel steps and throws the chair in the ring. So then Thunder Rosa was bleeding. Baker hits Thunder Rosa with a knee to the face, sets up a chair in the ropes, forearm from Baker. Rosa hits suplex in the ropes for a 2 count. Reveal throws more chairs into the ring. Rosa attacks with one of the chairs. She attacks Reveal with one of the chairs. Baker hits Rosa with a forearm to the corner. Superplex onto all the chairs for a 2 count. Reveal gets a ladder. Rosa hits a bulldog onto the ladder. She hits her with a bulldog onto the ladder and a 2 count. So once they got a 2 count, Rosa hits knees in the corner. Hits Britt Baker with knees in the corner. Sandwiches the ladder onto Baker and drop kicks the ladder. Rosa gets another table. Baker is bleeding a lot. Rosa bites at the open wound. Baker hits Rosa with a super kick. Baker hits Rosa with a flatliner into the ladder. Rosa hits Baker with a Death Valley driver off the top rope into the ladder. Oh my God. That reminds me of someone that used to be in NXT. And his name is Velveteen Dream. Or should I just call him Pedophile Dream? That was his finisher. Rosa hits Baker with a Death Valley driver off the top rope onto the ladder for a 2 count. Baker is dripping blood everywhere. She actually looks good with blood. Baker actually looks good with blood. She looks like a monster. She looks like she's been controlled by Alexa Bliss and the Fiend. What it look like. She looks like she's possessed. Anyways, Baker hits Rosa with a DDT on the chair. Curb stomp on the chair with a 2 count. Baker puts the glove on, preparing for lockjaw. Reveal hands Baker a bag of thumbtacks. Oh Jesus Christ! That's even more disturbing. Thumbtacks. Baker goes for the swinging net breaker. Reveal tries to attack, but Rosa hits her with the crutch. Rosa drop kicks Reveal through the table on the outside, and then Rosa hits Baker with a powerbomb on the thumbtack for a 2 count, and then Baker hits Rosa with a lockjaw while they are lying in the thumbtacks. Rosa rolls over onto the thumbtacks. Baker hits Thunder Rosa with a thrust kick. Rosa hits Baker with a fire thunder driver off the apron through the table on the outside for the 3 count. The referee raises Thunder Rosa's hand as Dynamite ends, and it goes off the air. Same thing. So, Rosa versus Baker has been one of the most intense rivalries in AEW. Now, there was one that deserved this spotlight in a hardcore match of this sort, and the competitors absolutely killed it. They absolutely performed up to the moment. Now, this was appropriately violent, even producing blood and thumbtacks. Typically, for women's wrestling in major North American promotions. Now, Rosa may have won the match itself, but Baker was the real winner of the night's festivities. I think Thunder Rosa was the real winner of the festivities, showing a level of toughness few would have expected from her. She sported the Crime Zone mask, suffered the breathtaking agony of thumbtacks, stabbing into her back, and take a big table bump. In the finish, she was simply phenomenal and elevated her star, especially in the match. More importantly than the quality of performances of the high spots within was this match potentially means for AEW Women's Division. Yeah, all right. This was definitely what this means potentially for the Women's Division. And for too long, the company has produced a division that had all of the talent necessary to succeed, but failed to build stars and tell stories. Then came Baker versus Rosa, and genuine was a genuine secondary feud that proved AEW could focus on women outside of the title picture and effectively build a storyline. Do you not know how good that sounds coming from me when I said that? You not know how good that sounds? It sounds really good. Now, that's not all. It culminated Wednesday in a genuine match of the year candidate, and hopefully opens up opportunities for the extremely talented women's division to find more opportunities in the near future. I'm sorry, but the NXT Women's Division is still better than the AEW Women's Division. I'm sorry. I just thought I'd throw that out there because I'm telling the truth here. But you know what? Kudos to all involved in this one for their toughness. Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa are the true faces of the women's division. I absolutely agree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. I always knew that Thunder Rosa was going to be the face of the AEW Women's Division. It's been a prediction for a very long time, and now it has come true. That dream has come true. Now she's the face of the AEW Women's Division. Now, kudos to all involved in this one for toughness, commitment to tell their story, and delivering the pain-stinking levels of violence and brutality the match type deserved. This was really, really great. This match, this unsanctioned women's main event match is, in my opinion, finally going to go down as one of the greatest AEW women's matches in AEW history. It should. That was one of the best matches on this show. Or should I say the only best match on this show? It has so much potential. Some of these women on this roster has so much potential if AEW uses some of the women's talents, right? Thunder, you've seen how many weeks Thunder Rosa has been losing. She's been losing for about 2-3 weeks, and now she's starting to win back matches. Thunder Rosa needs to be. I said this on my AEW Dynamite review last week. I said Thunder Rosa needs to be a type of talent on the AEW women's roster that needs to be winning matches, not losing. She's not a type. She's not a type of women's talent that should be losing. She's just not that type of woman, a person that can take losing seriously. She's not. She's just. She needs to be winning. They need to have her winning, and she's been winning. This match proved that Thunder Rosa really is the face of the women's division. There's a lot of reasons why Thunder Rosa is one of my favorites. One of them is because her wrestling skills are fantastic. Her kicks are great. Her punches are great. I mean, that MMA background plays it all in her in-ring abilities. Yes, the one thing that plays a role into her wrestling skills is her MMA background. That is one thing that I never thought I'd mention. That's one thing I wanted to mention here, because I want you all to know that I'm telling the truth here. Her MMA background is definitely the one reason why her wrestling skills have been so much phenomenal and been so great. Now, Britt Baker, on the other hand, she's great too. She's tougher too, but you know, Thunder Rosa at the end of the day was the better woman, and we all know if we ever see Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa again, Thunder Rosa is going to reign supreme again over Britt Baker, because they should be building up Thunder Rosa, not Britt Baker. They should really be building up Thunder Rosa to be the next challenger for Shida's AEW Women's Championship. We need to get Thunder Rosa versus Shida so Thunder Rosa can become the new AEW Women's Championship. Because right now, after that match, after seeing that freaking unsanctioned lights out match, I think Thunder Rosa deserves to be the next challenger for Shida's AEW Women's Championship. We have not seen the match yet, and we want to see it now. I think it is time for AEW to either turn Thunder Rosa heel to have her feud with Shida, or just generally start having Thunder Rosa feuding with Shida, and then we can see Shida versus Thunder Rosa for the AEW Women's Championship, and have Thunder Rosa win to become the new AEW Women's Championship. I think the best way to do that was to either turn Thunder Rosa heel or turn Shida heel. Because, we can get a heel Thunder Rosa versus a babyface Shida, or we can get heel Shida versus babyface Thunder Rosa. Because I don't think a babyface versus babyface would necessarily make sense. It just doesn't. I can't see that. I can see them turning either Thunder Rosa or Shida heel. I can just see that happening. So the same thing with a heel versus a heel dynamic. You cannot book a heel versus heel dynamic. That makes no sense to anybody. When you're booking garbage, that's how you lose audience. But I really think Thunder Rosa deserves to be the number one contender for Shida's championship. I think she will be the next challenger for Shida, and I'm confident that she will be, and I'm hoping she will be, so she can win that championship. Because I want to see Thunder Rosa as AEW Women's Champion, as the first ever I would love to see Thunder Rosa as the first American Mexican AEW Women's Champion ever. Thunder Rosa is an American professional wrestler. She's not Mexican. She's not Puerto Rican. Well, she does speak Spanish, though, but she's not Puerto Rican. But seeing Thunder Rosa becoming the first ever American Mexican champion, the first ever American Mexican AEW Women's Champion, would be great. That would be